beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy, and today I'm going to be doing a video talking all about new players in the Magic the Gathering community, whether it's new players just in general who are new to the game or new players into the competitive scene and stuff like that. This is a video that I wasn't exactly planning on doing, but it was something that came up and I was like, hey, I'll film a video on it talking to you guys about my experience. And the first story I want to tell you guys is basically one of my best friends, Justin, plays Affinity in Modern, right? And the other day he goes to, on Saturday night to play Magic, and he's playing against the mirror match. He's playing against this kid who's also playing Affinity, and the kid's deck is budget, so therefore he doesn't have a lot of those expensive cards. Affinity is an expensive deck in Modern. Like, it's a $600 deck, I think it's like around 600 or 500, something like that. It's expensive. I mean, a lot of decks in Modern are. A lot of decks that are competitive, you're going to be pouring money into them. But, he's talking to the kid, and one of the cards, he only had like one Mox Opal in the deck, and if you're familiar with Affinity decks in Modern, you know that Mox Opal is a very important card in this deck. And the kid only has one, so Justin is talking to this kid, and he just gives him a Mox Opal. I was shocked when he told me the story. I was like, not like shocked like he would do something like, not saying he's like not a kind person, but like Mox Opal is like a $45 Magic card. So thankfully Justin goes to the counter after this interaction and buys another one. I'm really glad they had one, because how awkward would it have been if, I don't even know what round this was, but how awkward would it have been if it was like, hey, I have a Mox Opal, I need a Mox Opal, and they don't have one, and then you have like 59 cards in your deck. Okay, that would have been not so good, right? And Mox Opal's like a really important card in that deck, so. But yeah, like, he, just gave him the card. It was really nice, and he was telling me about it, and I was like, wow, like, that was a really nice thing to give this new person into competitive Magic, just, like, a really expensive card like that, and say, you need this card, like, this is a really important card in your deck. So, I thought that was really sweet. So, a couple of days later, there's this kid that I know who just got into Magic. I don't really know him that well, but he just gets into Magic, and his friend builds him this standard, green-red deck, right? So we're talking about the deck, whatever, and this kid is so funny, like, how innocent he is about the game. He was so excited about basic lands. He was like, I have a forest. Like, he got so excited about it. It was like the greatest thing I've seen. And it was a really interesting experience for me, because I haven't really dealt with a lot of new Magic players. Like, where I go to school, like, the players who go there are all experienced with Magic. Like, I haven't really, like, dealt with a lot of, like, new Magic players. Like, it's just a really interesting thing. Like, I taught a couple of my friends and stuff like that to play, but, like, it's been a really long time since, like, that's been the case. So it was a really weird sort of thing for me to, deal with, like, someone who's new in the game. So, we're talking about his deck, whatever, and one of the cards that I thought would be good for the deck is a Woodland Bellower, and I had one, so I just gave it to him. And he was so surprised about it, and he was like, looked it up on his phone, he was like, this is a $4 card. I was like, I don't care. I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't need it. Like, I mean, and the thing is, and I said this before in another one of my videos, that I've come to the point with Magic cards where, like, I'm literally just getting cards now for Modern. Like, I'm gonna build Sultai at some point, and, like, I may build Abzan, and, like, I'm building Elves, and I'm building Merfolk in Modern, but, like, other than that, I don't have any plans for building any EDH decks and stuff like that, so I'm looking for very specific Modern cards. So it's like, yeah, that Woodland Bellower may have just sat in my binder for a while until, like, I traded it to someone for Modern cards, but, like, that's really it. So, like, I'm on the hunt for those cards, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I need these cards, like, right now, you know what I mean? So, it's not really a huge deal for me, so I was like, I don't care, like, just take the card. It's not really a huge deal for me, right? So, and I'm not telling you the story to be like, hey guys, look at me, I'm really cool, and I'm really awesome, and I'm just giving people cards. I'm not telling you the story for that reason. I'm telling you this because if you can do something like that, you will literally make a new player's day. You'll make them really happy. And if you can't afford to give people a Mox Opal, like, I don't even think there's anything in value of my binder that, like, in a single card that's $45 at this moment. I think the most expensive card I have in my binder is a foil Boros Charm, which, by the way, can we talk about how those are $15 and I have one and I don't know what to do with it, so I really need to get rid of that because, like, I don't want it. And it's $15, man. That's, like, absolutely ridiculous. Okay, that's not the point. But yeah, like, if you can do something like that, like, if you can just give people, like, your commons and uncommons, or your basic lands, you don't understand how happy you will make new players, because they literally don't have anything. Like, you were at that point, too, where you just had, like, no Magic cards. And one of the things, how I got into Magic and stuff when I learned how to play Magic, like over 3.5 years ago, is people, like, there's this guy that I'm still friends with and I still talk to, Sal, who literally would give people magic cards. Like, just, he had these days where, like, he would just give people commons and uncommons. Again, not anything that's super expensive, but he just had the cards laying around. He wasn't doing anything with them. He was just like, just take them. And it was just such a nice sort of thing to do. And I was talking to another one of my friends who said that, like, when he got into Magic, like, you know, one of the guys just bought him, like, this huge thing, like, of 1,000 commons and uncommons, and it just helped start his collection. It helped him out so much. When you're coming from a place with nothing, like, that's such a huge thing. So, another thing I would say that with new players, and this revolves more around, I would say, like, if they're getting into a competitive environment, that some players just can't afford, like, a lot of cards or a lot of good cards, and knowing that is, like, really important. Now, if you're in a competitive thing, I feel like that's a whole separate thing, you know, because if you're pouring money into a competitive deck, you kind of need to do that, and that's a whole separate issue. I don't even want to go in there, but, like, if you're, like, a new player, they may not know what cards are going to be good. They may not know the prices of cards, and they may not know what cards are considered good. So, like, if you're talking about, like, Modern, they may be playing removal cards when there's just better removal cards. Like, they may be playing, like, what was that? Did you hear that? What was that? I don't know. There's, like, really weird noises that happen on this campus, and I really don't understand them. But anyways, I really don't. Oh, removal spells, yeah. Like, okay, what is a really awful removal spell? Okay, this isn't a really obvious one, but Lava Axe. Lava Axe is a really bad magic card, right? Okay, which, by the way, this is really unrelated, but there's this game called, wow, why is it not coming to me right now? But it's a zombie themed game, and one of the weapons in the game is a fire axe, and every time I would play it, I'd be like, Lava Axe! That's really not the point. But anyways, Lava Axe is a really bad magic card. Okay, but say you're playing against someone and you're like, they're playing Lava Axe, and you're like, hey man, this card is really not good. You should run Lightning Bolt. Like, if they're not already running Lightning Bolts, whatever. Like, stuff like that. It's just like, they may not know about a lot of these cards. Also, Lightning Bolt's really not that expensive. It's only like $2 or something. So, yeah, just like telling them and just like offering them suggestions and being like, hey man, these cards are a lot better than what you're already playing. Which kind of goes into my next point about constructive criticism. Okay, here is the difference. A lot of people don't actually understand what the words constructive criticism are. It's really frustrating. For example, if you tell a player, hey man, your deck is bad, versus, hey, these are some things that I think you should work on in your deck. That is what constructive criticism is. Do not say your deck is bad. One sort of comment, your deck is bad, is not constructive. It doesn't help them. It doesn't tell them what part of their deck is bad. If you just tell someone that your deck is bad, they assume that every single card is awful, and they could be getting rid of, like, really awesome cards, like Lightning Bolts. If they already have Lightning Bolts in their deck and you're telling them that their deck is bad, they're going to assume that every card is bad. Don't do something like that. It's not helpful. It doesn't help anyone. Give them constructive criticism. Say, hey, this card is not good. This is why you should run over it. Stuff like that. Another thing is, these thoughts go really hand in hand, is just understand that they're learning the game. You have to understand that you have to go at a slower pace if they ask you a lot of questions. It's really interesting for me because I've been in, you know, because I know Magic and I understand a lot about Magic, that it's kind of one of those things that I haven't started to play, like, new games, like new card games or anything like that in a while. So for me, being, like, in that role where I don't understand the game is kind of weird for me because I just know so much about Magic that it's like, and again, I'm not being like, huh, I know so much about Magic, I'm not saying it like that, I'm just saying, like, I know the game, so when I am a new player in something, it's really weird for me because I'm just not used to that. Like, I was learning the game, if you guys have heard of, like, HeroClix before, my friends are teaching me how to play that, and it was really weird for me asking a lot of questions. New players are going to ask you a lot of questions, and that's okay. You can't get frustrated with them if they ask you 15 times what First Strike is. Oh my gosh, I mess up First Strike literally all the time. I'll swing at someone and they're like, First Strike? And I'm like, I actually don't know what that word card means, or does. That's a lie. I know what it means, but, like, you know, it's one of those things that it's like, I need to review a lot of times that stuff. So, like, understanding that is, like, really important. You were once in their spot. You were once in their position. No one is gonna start off playing Magic and do really awesome, probably. And in the same token, like, there's some players that I've seen who, like, haven't been playing Magic for a while, and they're just really good at the game. Like, my boyfriend Zane has, like, only been playing Magic for, like, almost 2 years, and he's, like, infinitely better at the game than I am. And I've been playing for, like, 3.5, given he's been playing competitive Magic a lot sooner than I have. But, like, still, he's just so much better at Magic than I am. So, yeah. I think another thing is, too, is with new players, is that they're gonna ask to read your cards a lot, and that's fine. Like, you know, if you have to, like, flip your cards up so that they can, like, read them, like, I don't understand. Some people get so mad about this. Like, ugh, you have to ask to read my cards. Like, what? Who are you? Get out of here. Like, oh my gosh, they don't know what a card does. Like, it's not really a huge deal. Even experienced Magic players probably don't know every single card in the game. Every single card that's, like, ever been printed in existence. There's gonna be cards that they're gonna, like, need to read, and that's okay. So, like, just be patient with that, man. Chill out. And I think, like, the last thing really is that, these new players are the future community. If you are rude to them, they're going to, A, stop playing, which, do you really want new Magic players to stop playing? No, probably not. If you want new players to stop playing, that's just, like, really rude. And 2, is that if they act in this way to you, they're probably going to act like that to other people, and that's not good, and that cycle is going to perpetuate. So I always think it's a really interesting thing when you look at people who, like, people who teach other people how to play Magic, and you kind of see, like, the similarities and differences. Like, I taught my friend Paul one of my best friends, Paul, to play Magic, and he said that he feels like he sees a lot of stuff that, like, I do. Like, he does a lot of things that I do because I taught him, you know what I mean? It's like, even though that was so long ago, it was like over 2 years ago, or over 3 years ago, it's like he notices that he still does those things, which I think is, like, really interesting. Like, you know, he'll play, like, the Magic card Oblivion Ring because he knows it's, like, my favorite card, so we'll play it in EDH and, like, you know, stuff like that. So, but yeah, like, you know, if you have an instance where someone who teaches you how to play Magic is really rude, you may be a rude Magic player, and no one wants that sort of energy around. You want to make, you know, a situation positive and stuff like that. So, but yeah, guys, that's it. That's pretty much it in terms of, like, all the stuff about new players. I really like always hearing your feedback and stuff like that in the comments, but if you want to talk to me about, you know, any experiences that you had and stuff like that with new players, like, you taught someone how to play, or you saw someone, you know, being rude or something like that to a new player or whatever, just, you know, everyone just needs to, like, take it easy, man. Everyone just needs to chill out with being rude. Don't do that. That is, like, not good. Remember we learned that, like, in kindergarten, like, be nice to each other? Yeah, let's do that. Alright guys, that's it. I wanted to talk to you guys about 2 things before I forget, even though I'll probably include them in videos in the future if I remember. I'm going to be at 2 upcoming events if you're going to either or both of them. One, I'm going to be at New York Comic Con on Friday, which is going to be awesome. If you guys are going to that, yes. Let me know in the comment if you're going to be there. That would be really cool if you're going and you see me. I'm going to be cosplaying as Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm literally going to be green. It's going to be pretty hard to miss me. So if you see me, I'm going to be with, like, my best friend Paul, and I may be with, like, one of my other friends too. He may meet up with us. Like, if you see me, like, you can say hi. I'm not gonna, like, push you away or something like that. Only time I may do that is if I'm buying comic books, because I'm buying Harley Quinn comics, and if you start talking to me when I'm buying like, if you're talking to me when I'm sorting through comics, that may not be the best time, because I'm sorting through comics, and that's my thing. But, if you come up to me or whatever, and I'm just, like, walking around, hey, like, totally say hi, that would be really sweet. And another place that I'm going to be most likely is, I think, is it called the External Extravaganza? I think it's in Pennsylvania. But I'm gonna be at that with my boyfriend Zane, so, like, if you see me at that too, you should say, hi, I'm gonna be playing Modern, so, like, that's gonna be really soon. I'm gonna be playing Amulet Bloom, and I'm really excited, because it's gonna be my first time playing that deck competitively, so I'm really, like, at a competitive event, so I'm really excited. And it's gonna be, like, my second competitive event, which is really interesting. Like, I've only been to one other, the PPTQ that was in July, so yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys about that in, like, upcoming videos. But if you're going to either of them, like, you know, like, now you're going to either of those, you should let me know, because you can come and say hi to me, and that would be cool. Okay, guys. But that's it. That's it for this video. I will talk to you guys later, and enjoy the rest of your